You're watching HCAM TV. You're on, Cheryl.
Go, Cheryl.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Peralt.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Franza, and you are the co-editors of the Hope True Community book.
What is hope to you? In these challenging times of 2020, in dealing with the global pandemic and so many other challenges, when we think about hope, what comes to mind? Back in April, we as family, we as friends and co-editors wondered this and put a call out for poems and stories of hope and received over 120 submissions from as near as Hopkinton to as far as Australia. We received a diversity of perspectives and experiences and compiled these words of hope into a book with 72 contributions of poems, stories, song lyrics, and images, giving voice as one united community about having hope. Then we put these responses together into a book form and had it published and printed by October 28th. We did not expect that the launch would still find us in quarantine time, but we are dealing with this pandemic and we are still calling for hope. This evening, we have the gathering space of the magical mystery world of Zoom to share this book with all of you. And we acknowledge that we are all different places of embracing Zoom, excuse me. So please keep that in mind. And I just want to say we are very grateful to HCAM TV crew for making our book launch possible.
Thank you. You want to give a very special thanks to HCAM TV, like Cheryl said, Mike, Bob, Jim, Tom, and Matt for hosting this event tonight. We also want to say thank you to the Hoptown Public Library and the director, Heather Beckman, who is with us tonight on the live stream, and you are donating a book to the library. We also thank Sherilyn Lambert of Project Just Because in Hopkinton, which provides food, clothing, home provisions, and other assistance for those of the community in need. Proceeds from our book sales will be donated for Project Just Because, Feeding America, and Action Against Hunger. We thank Damianos Publishing, Linda Damianos and Lisa Thompson, who did an exquisite work on this book. We thank Hoptown resident Tom Sloan for the permission to use his breathtaking photo of the Hoptown State Park for our book's cover. We'll say thank you to the 3 photographers from the Front Steps Project, Chelsea Bradway, Linda Mianos, and Christine Strickland, who provide us with some beautiful photos. And you all thank all of the individuals and families who were included in our book. We also thank you all of the 72 participants selected for this book, for this project. And we thank all of you who join us as audience tonight from your homes to be community tonight with us as well.
This evening, we have the unique opportunity to hear from 34 of the book's participants who are here in our Zoom gathering space, coming from their own homes to share their thoughts and experiences in response to our call for hope. Each participant will have 2 minutes to say their name and the title of their contribution and read their poem or an excerpt from their story. 2 participants will share their words as songs. So be prepared to hear in the lineup that follows a lot of surprises and fascinating contributions of poetry, story, and songs in the Carnegie Hall of Hope in your own home and with the ending message from our last participant who offers the key to hope. Cynthia is the visionary of this book, and she will be sharing her story of how the idea for this project got started in her reading. She has been the mover shaker of this project as she knows how to have a creative idea and manifest it into reality, even when we only have 7 months. We wouldn't have had this book of so many wonderful and inspiring messages of hope if Cynthia did not have this idea, and then kept working so hard right up to today to make it happen. Is this program only for poets and writers? Not at all. In my role as community arts facilitator and host for sharing poetry, songs, and true storytelling in the past 16 years, what I've discovered from working with many groups of people in community, not only the new and the seasoned artists and writers and songwriters, but also people of community, first-time writers even, like children in schools and people in nursing homes, women dealing with recovery, hearing poetry from a student from College Behind Bars. Even people I worked with in hospice at the end of life have shown when we make time to write our words, it can serve to expand our understanding of ourselves and one another and our worlds. And it can even help in different ways in life. And we all need hope. And so tonight, these words are for everyone.
Now, you would like to share some of the gifts for these collective voices, offering words about hope to us all as you approach the end of this challenging year of 2020. And hope they may serve as a gift to you and your loved ones as well. You would like to invite our first guest of this evening, who also was the first poet to send us a submission for the Words of Hope project. Back in April, Victor Purton from Australia, who will read his poem Untitled.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Cheryl. The times call for realistic and infectiously optimistic leaders. The leader is the person in your mirror. Thank you.
Good evening. Peace, love, and hope to you all. My name is Patty Gurekian, and I will read my poem, Stop for a While, to the millennials in my life. Share a beer with me. In lofty words, lift me from this ground that has found too many to bury. Share a joke with me. In this short day, make me laugh at the grief that has swept and kept me away. You are young and your hours are long. So stop for a while and delight me. Show me how to dance through my pain. Show me how to love what remains. Thank you, hope, and peace out.
Now I'm reading my poem, who inspired this book, called 124 Notes. This story was written the first days of quarantine, one day after the International Day of Happiness. They were the beginning seeds for the blooming of my wish to bring words of hope to the community and the world. 124 notes. Saturday, March 21st, 2020, early morning. I wore my disposable gloves and began my secret mission, spread happiness in my neighborhood. I have 124 notes in my pocket, printed in different bright colors. I will put them in all the mailbox around me. The roads were empty, in total silence, ghost town. A police car crosses the street. I hide the cards. Between the smiley face on the top and the heart in the bottom, the words in the note reveal my caring secret. Hi, neighbor. We are all stuck at home, keeping our distance from others, doing our bit to keep our families and the world healthy. Stay positive, be strong. We are all in this together. Take care of yourself and your family. Send love and health your neighbor. In light of the coronavirus pandemic, the idea of sharing a note maybe can bring us together as family and community to focus on practicing gratitude, kindness, love, and compassion. Late in that day, I saw a post on my neighborhood Facebook page saying, "Thank you so much to the kind neighbor, whoever you are." It's me, Cynthia Franca, who left this in my mailbox. It provides some much-needed cheer and encouragement. If I made one person happy, that truly made my day. Deep in my heart, I just want to do something for people. We're all in this together. Thank you.
My name is June Rose Canonico, and I'm reading something of a story of my life. And the title is, What Doesn't Kill Us Makes Us Strong. I am of an age with such medical conditions as to have made me more restricted in my movements than most, added to which I live alone. There is no one to share my experience day to day, face to face, hand to hand, voice to voice. How do I manage to sustain my sanity? I have lived more and more in an unsolicited solitude for almost 2 decades. My mobility handicaps have restricted me from the work I love, teaching music to young children in schools. But now, where is the hope in this story? Where is the inspiration of how I am managing my isolation? Let me take you back to an evening 57 years ago in October, my sophomore year in high school, an exciting time of growing up and exerting my independence. On the night that I speak of, 5 young people were returning home from a youth roller skating party driven by a 19-year-old friend of my brother's. And a terrible accident caused by wet and leaf-covered roads and street lamps without light sent him and us into a skid that ended up with his car wrapped around a telephone pole. Life changed unalterably for us all. 2 died, one never regained normal consciousness, and only 2 survived, my 19-year-old brother and me. As words are not enough to tell all, I will go to the comparison with my present isolation and sense of paralysis. For 3 months, I was in traction in a hospital bed, sharing the 2-person room with a succession of adults ranging in age from 19 to 87, during which time parents and friends of my brother visited regularly, driving the amicable ward nurse to distraction with hootenannies. I did sleep a lot, watched the little television someone gave me, and talked with my changing roommates, learning from their very different lives and experience. Of course, then there were no internet distractions or cell phone communications, but I kept engaged in life from my hospital bed as I slowly healed. Isn't this what we are all asked to do, more or less, now, as we practice stay-at-home or social distancing and wearing face-covering masks? We need to make the most of the world around us as it is now, and maybe for quite some time to come. If I could do this at 15, I must be able to do this at 72 and beyond. I can never forget that 3 young people never had the opportunity to explore life as I have since my recovery these past 56 years. God bless those who have not made it through the virus and all those who have. I thank God every day for life, for friends, for music and poetry, plays and worship services, and all we can see and share through the internet. We wait for summer and spring's foliage, and then autumn and winter. The birds carry our songs as always. My past and presents are intertwined. Thank you for listening. God bless.
Hello, my name is Howard Kogan. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm going to read my poem, My Mother's Pandemic. It's a shame my mother missed a rare opportunity for vindication and triumph by not living to see the coronavirus. She always knew it was on its way, even precisely where it was lurking, waiting to pounce on some public toilet seat, also known as a strange toilet seat, like one you might need to use at, God forbid, a place like Grand Central Station. That pandemic playground she was certain would erupt one day like Mount Vesuvius and make us into another Pompeii. Frankly, it wasn't much fun being infected by her fears, and yet now I must admit I see her in a different light, no longer a neurotic germophobic nut, but a pandemic prophetess wearing a hazmat suit over her house dress, armed with alcohol wipes in one hand, Lysol spray in the other, clucking self-righteously. How many times did I tell you the coronavirus wouldn't have had a chance? Thank you.
Go ahead, Judith.
Okay.
Judith and John, unmute.
Yes.
There
Is
you
that
go.
all right now?
Yep.
Okay. Should I begin?
Please.
Okay. I'm Judith Ferrara, and I have a poem about what it means to get through a harrowing experience and how it changes us permanently. It's called To Lightning. You spilled juice across the sky, no pas de deux of cloud and wind, no rampaging crescendo, just a swift, breathtaking blast delivered while I waited out the storm at my screen door. To fall backwards, surprised thud of charged skin and bones, dropped like a gift at the feet of Zeus. To be hummed, beaten by your zing, is one way to be divided and burned. For weeks afterward, under the air, flavored with pink and orange waltzes, you administered a therapy of charms, made me respect magic, darkness, and the narrowness of my soul. Thank you.
I'm John Gorman. My poem is Where Will You Go to See Him? My sister's husband passed away, and she asked me to write a poem for his funeral. Where will you go to see him? No earthen prison will hold him in a single place. Instead, his body and spirit will be with nature as he wished. No separate stone will note his passing. Now, each rock along the trails he trod will be a step to mark his way of life. In fields and woods where he found pleasure in the hunt, lakes, rivers, and ponds offered him challenges with rod and reel. On the brightest day or the darkest night, seek not just to find him there. Look in places where he'll always be, in your thoughts, each pleasant memory, and your hearts. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dina Tavares. I'm grateful to be part of this amazing community of writers. The piece that I'm going to read is called Forest of Community, an excerpt. Just like any other major crisis that has taken place within the history of our world, the coronavirus is no different. We are all going through the ebb and flow of very trying times and riding upon the waves of uncertainty. For me, new questions are emerging daily. Where do we go from here? What has this strain on our economy and our hearts taught us? Has it strengthened our already established value systems, or has it created awareness to try a new approach moving forward? What matters? Where are you within this very moment? The sky has turned to gray and the rains have come once again, but there's always a rainbow in the clouds. There's a collective stillness in most of the world right now, yet so much change is happening all around. We have been social distancing for quite some time, though we never used that term. Social distancing ourselves from our community by not sharing our stories, by not opening our minds and our hearts to new ideas, by closing the doors to change because change is difficult and scary sometimes. COVID has taught us that change is inevitable and sometimes completely out of our control. It teaches us that all life is fragile, all lives matter, and every story should be heard while we are still here. I believe that currently we are seeing an intersection of humility and humanity converging in a symphony of voices. When crisis looms, our ears become fine-tuned to the notes of fear and desperation that hover all around. Sounds become more distinguishable because they are shared cries of discomfort and grief. Alone, I am but one tree, but together we are a forest. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jan Kraus Green, and I'm going to read excerpts from an essay called Let's Rewrite Our Human Story. In the midst of the difficult challenges and the grief many of us feel because of COVID-19, I'm wondering if humanity can rewrite the stories we have told ourselves about what it means to live on this planet. Our rewritten story must begin with a new way of knowing, a knowing that reminds us how very important we are because we live at this very time. All of us who live on Earth now are living in the space between what was and what will be. Of course, this could be said of every generation, but this space, our space in time, may be the most important transitional moment in human history because of climate change. Our new story must begin with a connection to all life on Earth. Humans have often acted in ways that are out of balance with the natural order. Our mistake has been not recognizing our inextricable connection to the natural world, to the ecosystems that sustain us, and to all humans everywhere. Our new story tells us we have an unprecedented opportunity to change the way we live for the better. We who live now have been chosen by God, or the universe, or just random chance to create a better world. I believe we can. We will invent, adapt, and cooperate in order to survive. We can use this existential crisis as an opportunity to create a better world. The point is this: our new story is one of hope, because as individuals and as societies, we can learn to live in harmony with nature and with each other. None of us will ever make the whole difference. Each of us must find our role in making changes, big and small, that bring more love, more joy, more justice to our world. The power of one really means the power of each one to do our part. So how very valuable each of us is, because what happens next is up to all of us. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Nagloski, and it's a pleasure to be with you. I'm going to read my poem called A Good Day. Daylight has come. The night has given way to a new day, and the practice of acceptance begins. To let be what is, or is it to be what is? An opportunity to be a human being, not a human doing. Who are we really? Where are we going? Why so restless and on the move? There is something rich and full right here to satisfy my restlessness. I sense it deep within me. I need not earn, achieve, or search for it. It is beyond my naming. I cannot capture it. It captures me, although somehow we mutually agree. It is elusive and cannot be held in my hands for long. It flies from my grasp like a free bird in the wild, setting me free to be, even if only briefly. Freedom is found in contentment. As I sit here with my cup of coffee in the silence of my living room, sun streaming in the window behind me, crackling noises from my baseboards as the heat comes on intermittently, breaking the silence. Everything I am and have are right now. What I have is my life, warmth, and a cup of coffee. And they are all gifts given to me as an entranceway to the miracle of being and being fully alive to all that is and is all in this moment. I am grateful and complete. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Bruce Marcus. I'm a poet, songwriter, primarily a storyteller. It's my pleasure to be here with you and share with you my poem entitled Moonlight. I am moonlight. And I beheld one night, far from any village, a young man out walking. He seemed to be contemplating something, but I know not what, for he never said a word, but rather stared at the ground with a scowl. As he walked along far from any village, perhaps it was a woman that occupied his thoughts, or perhaps his tenure on earth, but he never said a word until, by a pond that stood at the edge of a field, he lay himself down to sleep and said to no one there, "Good night." And as he slept, I stayed close, for he was but a man, and far, as I've said, from any village. When later he awoke, he seemed confused by the stars which had shifted in the blackness. He sat facing the pond at the water's edge, hugging his knees tightly, and I, finding that he was watching, danced for him upon the water. A breeze blew up, and I was a bright, sinewy serpent reaching out toward him across that pond. And then the breeze was quiet, and I was a round, shiny silver dollar bobbing on the surface, just out of his reach. He watched me this way a while until finally he rose and turned to leave. And as he walked along, returning, I believe, to the place where he belonged. And as he walked along, I believe he understood, though for sure I know not, for he never said another word, understood that even beneath a shifting sky, he too must perform his dance and hope that the right eyes might see. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bruce. And my name is Tom Smith. I don't seem to be visible. Am I okay here? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bruce. My name is Tom Smith. I'm proud to be part of this wonderful project. And I'm going to read for you my poem, To Aiden, which was written for my grandson on the occasion of his recent birth. Today, for the first time, you rest on the outside of the familiar body that nurtured you from a seed, from a wish, from a hope, from a promise. It was a long and difficult journey, but now you're home. Home is a mother and a father who love you since before there was light, before there was breath, before the sound of your trumpet cry to announce that you claim your place among humankind. They have much to teach you, and they have much to learn from you. May the blessings of this day, the wish of this day, the hope of this day, the promise of this day, and the love of this day be reborn for you each and every day of your life. Thank you.
My name is Jamel Adams. I'm a edu artist, activist, and I am appreciative to be a part of this movement. It's not just an evening. This right here is hope. This is love. This is light. And in my hood, folks would say, may your pain be champagne. And this, in some ways, try to make champagne possible during grim times. And so I'm going to share this poem that I wrote about my grandmother and the only way I knew how to react to her homegoing. It's called Dorothy. COVID-19 got our grandmother. They said no one could visit her. Couldn't sing through the windows because she can't stand no more. They said she too weak to hold the telephone. Every time we call, it takes like 30 minutes to hear her breathe. Because they have to find someone available to suit up and hold the phone for her. They said she just mumbles now, only able to say, I love you. It's happening so fast, y'all. It's so fast. Faster than her son who abandoned me. Faster than the person that blind dated her to COVID-19. Faster than ventilators can arrive. Faster than breath. COVID-19 took grandma on Wednesday. With Nana till death. My cousin, backwards, upside down, outside herself, incapable. She's in New York, Westchester County, New Rochelle. They said, you shouldn't come to the state, Jamel. They said, we can't have a funeral, Jamel. Our last words were, I love you. I'm not done with them being done with her. How do you tell death it's wrong? Nothing makes you want to be closer to someone than the invisible keeping you apart. Explain God to me. Answer the question list. I don't know what to ask, but I feel like a question. The question mark of me is her exclamation point. Is this thing in heaven? Or does it stay with her body rotting? Can her angel wings breathe? Does she have her voice back in syllable and strength to speak to me? Or does another angel have to hold my voice to her ear to hear, I love you, Grandma?
I'm reading this poem which is untitled. And this is written by Owen Fitzpatrick. Mike, are we good to go?
Yep, you're fine.
All right. Owen Fitzpatrick is a high school student at Hopkinton High School, and he is a gifted writer. I am able to share that information with you because I interviewed him for Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM TV a few years ago. And you can watch that interview if you look out for Meet Your Neighbor. Owen wrote, "There is no doubt in my mind that my mom will beat cancer. She will win." And tonight I have the added message from Owen that he would like to tell everyone the great news that his mother is cancer-free. The first couple days after I learned my mom had cancer still sting my memory. I remember sitting in my bed alone, thinking about her and how she could be gone forever. She couldn't hold things. She was always in pain, and her hands were full of blisters. My mom had beautiful, long, curly hair, and I watched it slowly fall out because of the chemo treatment. Hollow holes sat where her smile once lit up her face. Inside, I was slowly crumbling. I realized that I had to pull myself together, but when you find yourself in a situation like this, knowing where to reach and what to hold on to isn't easy. I first thought about all the reasons why I shouldn't be worried. For example, my mom is really tough, or we caught it early. The trouble is, despite the fact that she's really tough, they didn't catch it early. She had no signs that the cancer was growing inside of her for years because she looked so healthy. Guilt swam in my head for weeks whenever I began to forget the grief I was feeling. Distraction is essentially forgetting grief. My mom was in the middle of treatment when that quarantine quieted the world, and the presence of her cancer rang louder and louder in my ears. I could Zoom and Xbox all I wanted, but there was no sunshine under the cloud of cancer that darkened our house. I looked for hope in the darkness, but it didn't find me, and I didn't find it. Gifts flooded our house, covered in the word hope. Hope. It became my least favorite word. I didn't want to hear hope or see hope. I do not hope that my mom beats cancer. She will beat cancer. She is defying every odd. She's running miles on the treadmill as soon as they draw that chemo infusion line out of her port. She's lifting weights and eating kale. She drove herself to the chemo radiation every single day for 6 weeks until she needed a wheelchair. When the doctors tell her maybe, she says, "Yes, I can." She will win. Hope is an excuse. Hope is a desire, and its fluffy unicorn sense of maybe has no place for those needing action. Cancer isn't about hope. Hope floats. To those preaching hope, I say, find your fight and free your faith. Mom, you've got this. I know it. I love you more than words. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Cheryl, for sharing Owen's really fine poem. My name is Terry S. Johnson, and I'm going to read a poem entitled Epithalamion, a Wedding Song, in honor of my daughter and her new husband. Coastal New England June day, high tide and clear after a fog-thick morning. Long abandoned the ancient Greek preference for a January wedding, full moon rising. Without invoking the goddess Hera or any god at all, a daughter pivots from her parents to her future, vows exchanged. Those in attendance contemplate their own lives, tsunami of memory, weddings, births, degrees, jobs, divorce, or perhaps disappointment in never having been chosen, or joyous images of travel past, a plague now hovering. Distant thunder, darkening sky, just enough time for photos before the predicted deluge. Our small gathering savors the time together inside. As guests depart, a strawberry moon ascends between dissipating clouds. Thank you.
Beautiful, Terry. Good evening. My name is Wendy Santis, and I will read my poem Reservoir of Light, inspired by Malka Kutnik's painting by the same name. A southwestern cloudscape at the edge of town, floating magically high above ground. Release the darkness and look within to these sacred contours where my canvas begins. My paintbrush has a mind of its own to capture nature's wonders and the great unknown. It follows form and thought and takes its cue. The mystery of clouds, this glorious view. Morning light, an ethereal glow, a dreamy sea of color, contrast, and flow. Textured waveforms on display. Movement in time, lines and shapes at play. An indigo palette for my artist's eye, a reservoir of light in the churning sky. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Leonie, and I'm reading my history, Kindness, A Way of Living. I'm Leonie, and I'm living in Brasilia, Brazil. I would like to share with you some action I have done here in these pandemic times. I believe in help people. One of my life missions is help others. Sometimes I ask myself, in what ways can I connect other people to see that I can make a difference to them? We are living in a time of challenge and uncertainties. In March, our routine was completely looped. Suddenly, I can meet my neighbors, my family, and my friends. So we decided to keep touch with them in different ways. In the beginning of March, we did a college with words of hope, faith, peace, and put them in the 6th elevator of my building. I received feedback for them. They liked it. I always decide to call a friend each day only to ask how they are doing and they need something. I did this, and what's amazing to have the opportunity to help others. My friend knows that I love sweet with coffee. One of my friends, Carla, share food with others and bring me a piece of banana bread. I love canjica, a Brazilian typical food. A neighbor in my condo residence found out and cooked and shared canjica with us. It was amazing. It has been common here to celebrate birthdays from outdoors. My friend Marcela completed 30 years old. To celebrate, some colleagues went to sing birthday songs in her door. We always brought a birthday cake. For me, help and being kind are a way of living better by making a difference in my community and to live with purpose. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ginger Gibault, and I would like to read my poem called Sea Inside. Today is one of those days when from the moment I wake up, I feel a strong yet undefinable yearning. So I ask myself, what do I need to do today? Where shall I go to soothe this desire? The answer lies in the rhythm of the tides, in the unevenness of creeping white foam. But today, like most days now, I cannot go there to carve myself a seat in the sand, to open my eyes to the beauty of existence, then close them just to listen. Maybe take a walk, feeling the grains of time between my toes, to get my feet wet and look for perfectly flat skipping stones. To swim, yes, to swim. No, not today. Instead, I will visit the sea inside. Thank you.
Hello, pilgrims. I'm Bob Foster. I'll read my poem, Corona Haiku, which I wrote last spring, just as we were beginning to understand how bad this pandemic was going to be. Haiku is a Japanese poetry form. It's very, very popular in Japan and fun to work with. It requires very spare writing. It is made up of stanzas of 3 lines. Each line, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables. And we work within that parameter or those parameters. And so it requires a certain discipline, but I enjoy doing it and it's fun to work with, and it does require a certain discipline. So I will read Corona Haiku. A scary springtime, home alone but not lonely, nor COVID-19. Sneeze in my elbow, wash both my hands, stay at home, survive the virus. Objects rare and strange, meds, masks, and breathing machines, hope, love, Skype, and Zoom. No sickness will last. Fever comes and goes away while the world spins on. A pretty springtime, sunshine, walks, some daffodils, friends and families still alive. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ann Mattina, and I wrote this Ode to a Lockdown Life. Most days the world is less than a half-mile wide. Awake, the dogs await their 2-block walk, promises of longer, farther, whispered, as they resist return. Breakfast, headlines, email, text, Zoom, committees, classes, advisees. Camera on or off? Sigh. Everybody, please mute your mics. Lunch. Skyping with doctor, only routine. Rummage through the fridge and cabinets, hoping for dinner inspiration. None. Sanitizing wipes, gloves, 2 pair just in case. Mask ready. Follow the arrow in the grocery, locking eyes above masks with those scofflaws and rebels who wander their own path, glaring murderously at those within personal distance, reaching up and over. Stay in your lane takes on a whole new meaning here. Voices echoing above the near empty meat case, looking in gloved desperation at the thin plastic produce bags. It'll never happen. Tossing fresh vegetables into the cart. Stand on the painted footprints 6-foot intervals from the cashier. Wait until the belt is emptied and wiped. Cashier beckons. Unload groceries. Enunciating every word through mask and plexiglass. Hand signs win out. Return home. Dogs. One is dancing, the other's nose diving straight into the grocery bags. Wipe down the bottles, cans, boxes, and jars. Soak the produce in vinegar and water. Uninspired dinner prepared, eaten, cleared, cleaned. Time for promises kept. Longer, farther, all the way around the big block this time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Margie Wiggin, and I have to say I am humbled by the depth and beauty of these poems. My poem, Booze and Yays for Quarantine, was written April 7th, 2020, in an effort to encourage people to think beyond the current dreary, scary times to the future and maybe look for some positive notes. So here it is. It started on St. Patrick's Day, no cheering with green beer. Palm Sunday came and went. Waving palms will come next year. Passover followed next, matzah online with family dear. The Easter Bunny still arrived, heralding spring without any fear. Then May Day was in full swing, lovely flowers and lighter gear. By Mother's Day, there was more hope that no distancing we would hear. And soon enough, we'll be free to move, to walk, to talk, to touch with no fear. Never again would we take for granted hugging, dancing. Our distance disappears. Being together, spending time closer than 6 feet from ear to ear. Knowing now we are united, knowing we should share with our peers, not stockpile stuff like toilet paper. We just take what we need, that's clear. Reaching out to stay connected, thanking heroes, for them we cheer. Appreciating the important little things, loving, helping, sharing a tear. Staying apart brought us together again. Our future looks bright, though I'm not a seer. Resetting our values, making life better. Cherishing family and freedom, that's clear. Saying boo and yay for quarantine. We made history and we're still here. Thank you.
So, am I up? Okay. I'm Steve Rapson. I am so happy to be among the talented people included in this book. And I'm going to recite my poem, occasionally a song, Calling Bird. There's a calling bird singing in the wood. It's music to my ears. She's sounding pretty good. I hear her night and day with no one answering. Alone in the trees, still she always sings. Like a calling bird, we all sing our song, even if no one wants to sing along. But if someone hears and wants to sing with you, where there was one song, now there are two. Sing your song, sing your song. There's a calling bird singing in the wood. Thank you.
Looks like I'm next. We're not in order, I don't think. But I know I follow Steve. My name is Barbara Alaprantis, And my poem is A Motherless Child's Odyssey to Adulthood. The last time I saw my mother, I was 3.5 years old when she died. A lifetime later, I wrote this poem. What say you, the world said, as it dropped the small child on her head? What's your problem? You can sit and cry or get up on your feet. It matters not to the world, you see. Oh, yeah, said the girl child with a determined grin. Go ahead, drop me again. It matters not what you do to me, 'cause I'll survive. No matter what, you wait and see. The little girl stood up, dusted off her duff, hell-bent to show the world her stuff. She sang, she danced, she stood on her head. She listened, she talked, she did what they said. Then at the age of 18, I picked up a brush and painted the injustices my eyes had seen. I tried to make them, through my painting, see what was wrong with our world was killing me. What else could I do? I forged ahead as a bleeding heart liberal. Now, this poet could continue this rambling rhyme, but alas, she's afraid she'll run out of time. So she'll wrap it up by addressing the question at hand. Should she continue to bleed from her heart and soul? Continue doing what she's told? Or should she allow herself to feel what she feels, doing just what she believes is right, sharing herself with herself and worrying not if the world can't see what she sees, letting go of that constant voice in her head, which resonates so loud that it's hard for her to understand that her skull has healed from the original blow, So get on with your life, dear Barbara of mine. The invisible issue can now be put to rest, because you're quite a human doing genius and a wonderful self. If we listen to the stories our children tell, listen to the stories we tell ourselves, perhaps we will understand the plight of people less fortunate than you and me. Thank you. I'll drink to that.
Hello. Can I be seen? Okay. All right. My name is Michael Santoro, and I'm going to perform a song I wrote about 7 years ago. It's called A Long Hard Climb, but it feels very much like today to me. I can see a mountaintop rising in the distance, and I take it as a sign, and I'm gonna take the steps to continue my existence. I'm ready for a long, hard climb, and I'm feeling just a little pain as I'm traveling the distance, but I can see the sunlight through the pines. Then I reach down deep inside, I overcome my resistance. I'm ready for a long, hard climb. Now I'm drinking from a mountain stream. I'm listening to the birds sing. Stop and rest, look down into the valley. I can see the green, green grass. It gives me a strength that will last. Now I'm standing on the mountaintop. It's a reward to my persistence. I reach up and I touch the deep blue sky. standing off in the distance. I'm ready for a long, hard climb. Ready for a long, hard climb. Ready for a long, hard climb. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you to everybody who has read and is about to read, and even a child who is obviously enjoying it. My name is Alice Wood Kimball. My poem looks for peace in meditation and hope in nature. The title is Tongues in Trees, and it refers to Shakespeare's Duke, who finds in the forest tongues in trees and books in the running brooks and good in everything. Tongues in trees. On the path to the pond, the breeze makes pines and maples shiver. Listen to the trees that shake their natal fingertips in spring. Their lined up trunks are temple columns, bracing the forest ceiling on their heads. Listen to a pecking bird drumming on bark, while a vireo darts from branch to branch. Sitting on this cabin's wooden porch, palms together, I'll honor the birds who open their throats to chatter, the dove's coo, followed by the cardinal's TU and a robin's squeaky scold. I see the pond in sunlight beyond the trees, an outdoor ballroom with a ceiling of blue. The pond disperses water lilies, balls of white strewn across a 5-acre bowling green. A casual exile from the world, I watch summer's oven breeze court the trees. The skittish butterflies, the prying birds. I count my breath as the woods stitch closed their ceiling, sealing out the sky. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I think Joe needs to mute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm reading you my poem tonight in this wonderful book, and it is called Transplant. I hope you can hear me. Okay, good. Home after many days' work, many days' pleasure from my new life, my quarantine life with my lover, to my empty house, which isn't as empty as it needs to be, because now that I've moved out, prodded by the pandemic, I plan to sell. But I worry how I can possibly purge my household when everything's closed. And I think about all I will miss. The raspberry patches I trim back each spring and fall. The boom or bust peach tree, whose blooms I'm timid to cull. The butterfly plants I spread the seeds of in my side yard in defiance of my neighbor who complains when the flowers dry up. Even the lemon yellow daffodils I've planted years ago. So I plan the uprooting, the raspberry shoots, rhubarb, tulips, stealing from myself in stealth, because I'm practicing invisibility, because even in this pandemic, my neighbor makes inordinate demands. So now I bend over my shovel, and from behind the cloak of my overgrown rhododendron, I begin to dig. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Go ahead, Ellen.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me and be a part of this community. It's been wonderful so far. It's just been great. And again, I'm honored to be here. This piece that I've written was inspired by my cousin Joan, who her goal in life, her professional goal was to spread peace. She was a lover of family and of people in general, and birds, and life, and cooking, and children. And it's dedicated to my grandchildren. It's called The Bird. In flight to places unknown, even to the students of life, many senses of direction, absorbing life's gifts of love and beauty by spreading her wings. Watch me fly, watch me soar, follow me, and then follow your own heart and trust the beat as you glide and dance, and we'll get where we're meant to go. Even if it wasn't part of the plan, now it is. Or maybe it was all along. The universe does not reveal all of her secrets, certainly not all at once. Peace. With so many unknowns and drops of self-doubt on a rainy day, just listen. The answers will come. She persists in a direction, adjusting wings with flexibility and determination, and with steady and consistent encouragement to those who learn by following and then experimenting and learning to love the journey. Peace. The bird creates a nest, both inviting and intriguing. Others flock there and begin to mature and embrace their own strengths. The food on the menu every single day is compassion. Compassion being the sustenance which the bird happily wiggles down her throat to feel that squishy, warm feeling. Yum. Flight of thought, a family tradition. Peace. And so, the bird spreads her long and graceful wings, gliding over the ocean, and then with a clear view and a glimpse of the future, she sails over the beach. Safe travels home. Peace. With her own brand of grace, she breaks a bit onto the sand, inhaling warmth, and oh, the salt and the sounds near and far. And with toes spread and running, she leaves bird-style footprints forever and a day. And the children run fast as they can, or at times hopping and skipping behind, and try to fill those shapes with their teeny feet, giggling and squealing. Peace. Magical moments are never forgotten, imprinted on the small child's being as a map and a path. Perhaps it will lead others to tiptoe on a rainbow, or a flying elephant might land on the kitchen windowsill, wondering, what's for dinner? What do I crave? What more is there to explore? And how can I see it all without a bird's eye view? Peace. Inhale, exhale, peace. A calling and a response, with all of the senses awakened on this new day, nourishing foods, the sun and blue sky. The sound is unmistakable. It's remarkable. It's achievable. The sound is peace, peace, peace. Thank you. Thank you.
Good, Paul.
Good evening. My name is Paul Slosik, and I'll be reading my poem, A Song for Those Who Cannot Sing. A song for those who cannot sing. This is a song for those who cannot sing. A song for those who cannot bring the music in their hearts into the world without someone screaming, "Pipe down and cut out that caterwauling." This is a song for the 6th grade boy who is told by his singing coach he has a range of just 2 notes, both of them off key. This is a song for those whom carrying a tune is a lot like carrying some foul-smelling liquid in a sieve. Something's flowing, but it sure ain't no melody. This is a song for those who can only let their voices ring out under the cover of the auditory camouflage of running water or heavy machinery, unless they be mistaken for the family pet being sucked down the garbage disposal. This is a song, a simple reminder that in singing, like in most endeavors, those who can flaunt it in our faces. Those who cannot whine and write poetry. Thank you so much for listening.
Mike, are we able to get Rich on next?
Should be there. You there, Rich?
He said he was having no mic.
You should be unmuted. All right, let's work on that. And can we move on to Carolyn?
Hi, good evening. My name is Carolyn Waters, and I am a songwriter. And I'm going to perform for you tonight my song called Give What You Need. And it's about giving what you need to this world. If love is what you need, sow the seed, sow the seed. If love is what you need, sow the seed, sow the seed. Where the love in your soul, it will tell you where to go. If love, love, love is what you need, so grow, let it grow. If joy is what you need, then sing your song, sing your song. If joy is what you need, then sing your song, sing your song. Sing out loud, sing out strong, show the world your inner song. If joy, joy, joy is what you need, sing your song, sing your song. If understanding is what you need, then shake a hand, shake a hand. If understanding is what you need, shake a hand, shake a hand. Reach a hand across that aisle, put on those shoes, walk that mile. If understanding is what you need, then walk that mile, walk that mile. If hope is what you need, then don't stand down, don't stand down. If hope is what you need, then don't stand down, don't stand down. Wear your heart on your sleeve, don't sit down, take a knee. If hope, hope, hope is what you need, then don't stand down, and don't stand down. If hope, is what you need, then don't stand down. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Teresa. I'm in Hahamonga, which is the Tongva name for the Pasadena area in California. And the Tongva people are the original caretakers of this land. And I wanted to share one of my plant relatives that has been sitting with me and spend a lot of time with me. Thank you, Carolyn, for that song. And I think it's really perfect because my poem is really about what we need and how we can give that to each other. How we heal our community. If only we could operate the way mushrooms do, their mycelium transporting resources, nutrients, and messages to where they are needed through multiple possible pathways in case any get disrupted to help the plant grow and thrive. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for all of your beautiful, nourishing words that help me to grow and thrive.
Hello, I'm BJ Feeney. Thank you so much for Teresa for those kind words, and for all the other, this community of storytellers and writers and musicians. I'm grateful to be part of this project. I wrote this poem as I feel the pandemic has become a new learning curve for mankind, a global voice, if you will, for change if we are to continue our existence here on planet Earth. The pause has forced us to face ourselves and become more grateful for what we already have, and to create a more compassionate type of thinking towards one another. It has given me a stronger feeling of hope for humanity. I give you my poem, Pandemic. A sacred time of renewal, no barriers of thought, no closed doors to will. Stillness rises, greeting day's opening, gratitude immeasurable. Compassion rules, newsrooms notice bravery, goodness arrives unannounced. We live inside one another, terrified, yet hopeful, curved into one another's eyes. Connections stronger, constant pulsating drumbeats upon Earth's door. Our small light specks become blindingly real when blended as one. The spiral of hope will get us through, coming full circle. Mankind has been here in another time of woe, bent upon learning about itself. Thank you so much.
Mike, is Doreen LeBlanc here?
I do not see her.
All right. And Rich Berg, any luck with the mic? No reply. Oh, Rich, we know you're here. We're so glad you're here, Rich. Rich has given me permission to read his poem, as I'm not hearing from him. So, for everyone to know, Rich is in the house. It's just his mic can't work. I'm so glad you're with us today. And Rich's poem is called Infinite Journey. And at the beginning of his poem, he wrote, "I hope this poem may help someone draw strength, find solace, or otherwise benefit from it." Infinite Journey. Darkness dances between parallel atmospheres. Scattering illuminations of twilight grace the new day. As dawn's first light cascades over the horizon, meeting me at its shore. This eternal rising, an ever-present sacred energy, calming, focused, restorative. Here, in quiet contemplation, I am by myself, never alone. Life, an art form, an epic voyage of rediscovering the artist as work of art, weathering the storm, par for the course. Storms a brewing, dark clouds in tow, winds a howling, surely you know. A matter of time before a swift lashing rain sweeps down hard with the grip of a chain. No one plans to be there when you're there. You know it. A turbulent past released from deep in the mansions of your soul, where dark hearts dispel midnight dreams, where crying, the ultimate human emotion, resides, where healing becomes wisdom and wisdom becomes strength. The past always pales in comparison to the future, the genius of being. Before the beginning, there was nothing. In the beginning, there was something. In the end, there will again be nothing. In between is everything. Embrace this moment, because the rest of your life is always 100%. Rich Berg, thank you. And Hippolyte, you are on next. If you could please introduce yourself and your poem.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Well, my name is Hippolyte Ntigurirwa, and I'm from Rwanda. And before I read this poem, I'm honored to be part of this group and movement, like some of you said. This poem comes from my story of surviving the genocide against the Tutsi when I was 7. And, you know, going into a struggle of how peace was possible, I found that everyone holds the key for the peace they're looking for. And this poem invites everyone to be the peace. And that's the name of the organization I found. And I believe peace is what you give, not what you ask others to give you. That's why I have written this poem, because, you know, it has been the key for me too. I've found myself as a key. After the genocide, I made a decision to forgive as a way to be the key, to be the peace for the world. You have the key. The key I choose will help unlock the suffering caused by starvation, by wars, suicide, revenge, anger, relationship, money, jobs, position, nationality, sex, ubumuga, bote, impano, our belongings, umuco, habits, culture, imitungo. I hold the key and share the key with you because it is the key for remembering. Remembering that all together we can find a way to peace, a way to love, a way to forgive, a way to confess, a way to help the oppressed, a way to lift each other. There is a way. A way when you are, always when you are holding this key, you will remember when not only in the past, but remember when in the present, in the future. Remember, you are not alone. You have your key. The key for liberating the self, a key for mystery, for hope, for miracles. Urufunguzo rw'amayobera, rw'ibyiza, rw'urukundo, rw'umutuzo, n'amahoro. This key is not only for you, but also for your neighbor, not only for your life, but also for others' lives. There is a way, and we can find that way, for we are one people. We have the key in our hands, in our heart, in our spirit, right now. Thank you very much.
Whoa, whoa, so beautiful. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you very much for all the participants who joined us tonight on HCAN TV Live, celebrating hope through community. To order a copy of our book, please visit the HoptonTruePoetryBook.com website. And now, if Mike can do that, we will invite all the poets to turn on their cameras on Zoom, that will try to display all of you on the screen, and you can take our virtual group photo and wave hands and celebrate together. Mike, let's see if you can do that. If not, you can do by ourselves. Thank you so much. I don't know if this is live, but this is awesome. I'm so happy. Cher, would like to say something for our amazing contributors?
Oh, I thank everybody for being a part of this program. And we see how hope can be such a spectrum with all of us. And we can take 72 voices with us with this book. And so glad to hear some of them out loud tonight. So if we can go to gallery, yes, it would be nice to
gallery. That would be great if we can do that.
And we're right on time.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect timing. Oh my gosh, congratulations to you all. I hope Mike is taking this.
I have it. Say goodbye to everyone, guys.
Are we on?
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank
Goodbye.
You. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, geez, it's gone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn,
Tchau. Obrigada. Obrigada.